What's going on, all you Wizards and you Mudbloods out there? I am Nick. This is Nate. This is the Snick Snack Sports Fantasy Football Podcast coming at you, Week 9. How you doing, Nate?
Could be doing better, Snickers. My team is in the dumpster, and it's hard to take. Tears my heart out week after week.
I completely understand where you're coming from there. My number one overall pick, Jonathan Taylor, scored about 14 points since Week 1, so I am not used to being this far down in the record board here.
It hurts me. I think my team is good, but it's struggling. And Jalen Hurts has 2 points so far. It's like a third of the way through the game, so I'm worried. But we got a lot of good show for you today. We have Nick Adams on the show. We have Caitlin at the end to break down all the drama with Tom and Gisele and what she thinks the future might hold for them both. So let's jump into some recap. Nick, not everything is looking bad for you. We did have a bet last week, and I believe you won.
That's true. You got to ride with your do or die Tua Tagovailoa there. He was the number one quarterback last week, and you just had to finish in just ahead of Jalen Hurts to get the dub, and I believe he did.
Yeah, it was very close. I think they were number 1 and number 2, or number 1 and number 3, and you were a little hesitant on Tua, thinking it might not have been a good bet. But there you are.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but yeah, I was a little hesitant that if you get concussed again, that obviously would not go down well on my side of the bet there. But we do have a new one this week, it sounds like here. There's 2 teams going up against each other in fantasy and in the NFL. Is the Bengals and the Panthers, the cat battle here.
That's right. And so you actually were not loyal to your player this week. I looked at it and I saw it was interesting. You had right next to each other in your matchup versus Katie. You have DJ Moore. She has T. Higgins, both in your wide receiver 2 spots. And I said, what do you think? And you said T. Higgins is going to blow him away. And so we'll see. I think DJ Moore could pull it out. Tyler Boyd's a viable option. There's the ESPN projections do favor T. Higgins by a little bit, but sitting at 5 wins to your 2 wins. So I'm feeling bold this week.
Yeah, it's really going to be a battle of if the Panthers are able to run the ball at all. If they can get that going, then DJ Moore might not be in it. But if they can't and just have to come back from 21 points in the first quarter, it's going to be all DJ Moore. So we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, things have been working out for him ever since Christian McCaffrey left town. So here you can see we have our standings. Things are really stratifying in this league. What we previewed, we're both in the bottom half. I'm at 2 and 6. Nick, you're at 3 and 5. There's a big 3 and 5 consortium here, actually. And the DC Redskins by Kyler are firmly in first place.
Yeah, I had Kyler a few weeks ago. I tried to dig him down, but unfortunately I wasn't able to.
And we can see what's interesting to me is looking over the ESPN projections is that they have the playoffs basically determined at this point, which I think is a little premature on their part. You can see going from 6th to 7th, it drops from 83% to make the playoffs to 17. It does still have you as the best chance of making the playoffs at 19%. Has me down at 11. I think that some of us, I project that we actually have 2 flip-flops here. I think 2 of us down and below will take out 2 of the ones up top, and I hope to be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, KD's team, despite having the best week literally in the history of our games, team doesn't look that great. Kyle's been looking good, but Kyle's been on the down. Kenny's lost a couple. Matt's lost a couple. Shane's kind of jumped in there. So yeah, I think that it's very open to get some of these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots here.
Absolutely. That's a good segue into our box scores from the week. As you previewed, holy cow, Katie, 196.7 points. We've never had a 200-point score. Once Monday rolled around, I was pulling for her. I want to see the 200. I mean, my week was decent. I was salty at first, but this is the best scoring in our league ever by about 14 points. We believe that Shane a few years ago had 182 around there. And wow, just everybody was going off on her team. Tua was number 1. Aaron Jones pulled something out. Tony Pollard was one of the best running backs in the week. Amari Cooper had a great week. DeAndre Hopkins. It was just I mean, Nick Folk had 21 points for goodness sakes, and he's a kicker.
Yeah. No, when he scored 22 points, there's really not many touchdowns can add up to that. So it must have been all field goals there.
Yeah, Yowza. There's nothing I could have done. She outdid me this week. Now she has still made 0 roster moves. Absolutely none. And so I have to, despite this karmic retribution that I have been shitting on her team all year, and she does this to my team, I still think she is the best candidate in that top 6 to fall into a playoff hunt. I stand by it. She's done the worst she can do to me, and I no longer feel afraid. My team was not so bad. Dalen Hurts did what he needed to do. DeAndre Swift has scared me a bit, but he got the touchdown. Deontay Foreman seemed like the right guy to pick up on the Panthers. So I think moving forward, I have a shot. I have a shot. Now, if we look at the next matchup here, Kyler just out-edged mid-tier Nick. What happened in this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, this is actually one of Kyler's lower scoring weeks, but he had Travis Etienne in the new trade. He has Joe Burrow, he had Jacoby Myers and Jason Myers, those brothers there. But I mean, his team's definitely talented. His tight end and flex have been kind of questionable all year long. But he did get the win against Tommy. Didn't do much. Christian McCaffrey's basically Nick Adams' whole team there. Elijah Moore obviously didn't really play. Bucks got blanked last Thursday night. But I think Kyler's team's for real, honestly. I mean, he's won a couple times in the past and then been either all right or completely horrible the other times. And so it's pretty easy to tell exactly what his team's going to do.
Yeah, and one thing that scares me about Nick Adams' team is that everybody on his bench scored 0, apart from Aaron Rodgers. He finally drops a quarterback, and his team is looking like it is going down. He's already in the bottom half, and I think he's going to stay there. Now, if we look at the next matchup between John, who has renamed his team the pedicuretuck.com, I forget what that's a reference to. But he played against Matt. It was a decently close matchup here. Interesting until the end, if I recall. But ultimately, the right person came out on top. John has a bunch of kind of mediocre players at this point. Somehow, Marcus Mariota continues to be startable, which is surprising. Ramonde is doing great, but the rest of his team doesn't excite me at this point. And then another kind of garbage bench team. And then Matt's team is, I think, pretty solid. I think he might be able to hang on for the playoffs.
Yeah, especially the receivers, Nick Chubb there. But yeah, did you watch that Carolina-Atlanta game last week? They ended up catching it near the end of the fourth quarter and then overtime. It was pretty dramatic, honestly.
Although, I think I spoke a little too soon because I'm looking that he played Raheem Blackshear in the flex. I have never heard of this player. He apparently is on the Carolina Panthers. He scored 0.1 points. Maybe Tyler Algier is the second running back. Jamar Chase is out for several weeks. I have completely flip-flopped. He's not going to make the playoffs. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, Matt's been picking up all the backups in the Colts and the Panthers that think he might play, and he keeps picking the wrong ones, it seems like.
And then we have your matchup, which I think could be titled The Ascent of the Olive Man, if I had to choose one.
Yeah, I mean, Ducky definitely had a great week. Obviously, Alvin Kamara with 3 touchdowns. Not much he could do about that. And the rest of his team was pretty good, not great, not bad. So Chris Olave actually his lowest scoring player. I thought I had a pretty good week. Obviously, DJ Moore got his first boom score of the week here. Lamar's sort of back on track there. But I think my team's pretty well. Obviously, Aerosmith's out. I put Bobby Trees back in there and got someone else in for flex right now for Brandon Cooks. But overall, I'm still pretty optimistic about my team. Obviously, I think they're very talented overall.
Yeah, I mean, you said you can't have a hard time trusting Rondell Moore. He's done it 2-3 weeks in a row now. I think it might be time you play him.
Yeah, I think that there's a good chance.
Now we had a bit of a blowout here between Kenny, who I have to give a little more credit now. I think his team's going to make the playoffs. I know I'm hard on him. He had another big game over Carson. Derrick Henry is getting cold out. He's doing the thing he needs to do. Jamal Williams, I hope, is going to be not relevant for so much longer, but I've been calling that for too many weeks now. He continues to perform. I think that He's another team with a lot of zeros on the bench, but those might have been a lot of buys. Yeah, I think Carson is kind of stuck at this point. He's in last place. Do you think he can crawl his way up?
I don't think he's going to make the playoffs. Looking at his team, I mean, none of these names get me excited. Obviously, they're in the NFL for a reason, but they're all, B plus level players that he has in his team. I don't see any A's outside of DK Metcalf, and he's kind of been injured recently. So,
yeah, Deebo didn't end up playing. He could have been a superstar, but that hasn't so much panned out this year.
Sorry, he does have Justin Tucker. I don't mean to not call him an A, but
well, when you draft Justin Tucker in like the 6th round or something, this is kind of what happens. And then we had another big blow up match, actually a blowout against Kyle, which is the first time that's happened this year. He's lost 3 in a row, which does bring him down to 3rd place. Shane is surging, meanwhile, to tie with Kyle with this huge performance from him. AJ Brown is having a big game, although today, at the time of this recording, is not having a big game. Jalen Waddle has been panning out big time. Dalvin Cook has got back into form. Now we'll preview later, but he has a lot of buys this week, and I'm playing against him. I'm feeling good about that because his team can be scary.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was a pretty decent matchup, and Shane, obviously, 147 would have been definitely by far the highest score if Katie didn't come in and just stomp on you last week. But yeah, I mean, Kyle started 4-0, 5-0, and then Shane started 0-3. Who would have thought that they'd have the same record right now?
Agreed. And I still don't think that Kyle is in a bad position. I think he's going to perform. Dameon Pierce was a great pick. I don't know what the future of Benjamin holds, but he has Tyreek Hill. Rashad Bateman did not work out, as we'll get to in a second. But I still think there's some things here that he might be a top tier team going forward, but he's going to be a contender.
Yeah, I agree.
Now this was the trade deadline week, and I believe that you have some news to share with us regarding that.
Yeah, there were a lot of big, Pro Bowl caliber trades in the NFL this week. Obviously, Miami was making a lot of moves. They sent Chase Edwards to Denver for Bradley Chubb to boost their defense there, which was struggling, and then got Jeff Wilson from 49ers to make sure all the 49ers at running backs that were on their team a couple years ago are now all on the Dolphins. So we'll see how that committee goes here. TJ Hawkinson getting traded from the Detroit Lions to the Minnesota Vikings. In division, was everyone's starting to question, Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions are exactly what they're doing. Obviously, it's one of their best players traded away from the Colts to the Bills. Naheem Hines goes. See how many backflips he can do out in the cold up there. And then Chase Claypool from the Steelers to the Chicago Bears, looking to be right away at least the number 2, if not the number 1 receiver there.
Yeah,
guys that did not get traded: Brandon Cooks, Kareem Hunt, Cam Akers, and no one on the Green Bay Packers. So it's kind of interesting to see all those things just happen in the last couple of days here.
Yeah, I'm not too upset about all this moving around with the Dolphins, because I wanted to lock down the Dolphins backfield. That was my whole purpose of the trade with Kyle. I still have that now that Jeff Wilson's there, and I can probably just drop Chase Edmonds at this point without any guilt and just free up a roster spot for another flyer, which I think my roster needs. So I'm not too upset about that at all. And yeah, I think that the Hawkinson thing was weird. They kind of gave him away for very little ultimately when they had to give him some picks back too. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, just quick injury news too. Michael Thomas got put in the IR. It looks like he might actually be done for the season, as well as Rashad Bateman, who's been pretty injured for the Ravens all year. Now he's officially out for the season. So that's a big damper, even though they did get Roquan Smith on the Ravens there.
Yeah. And I know that was a disappointing for Kyle. We kind of had a wash there. Chase Edmonds is useless on my end, and I think Rashad Bateman already got dropped on his end. So really he just gave me Terry McLaurin at this point. But now let's talk about the week ahead a little bit. But before we do, we just have let's talk about the week ahead. as a reminder, we have Nick Adams joining us for the show today. He's going to share some insights into his struggling team about how he hopes to make resurgence. But before we have him on, we have a quick word from our sponsor.
John Canna is not the answer. We can talk about his lack of football knowledge and inexperience, but who cares? This is a man who supports the flogging of koala bears, pushes children down sewer drains, and throws like a girl. John Canna has been quoted as saying, O.J. Simpson is a great guy, and I consider him a close personal friend. If you want a real commissioner, not somebody who thinks tomatoes are spicy, vote for Matt Berluti.
This is John Canna, and I approve this message.
Right. So everyone, please welcome to the show, Nick Adams.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We're happy to have you on the show. Had to catch you for the brother-in-law matchup this week between you and the commissioner, Matt Berluti, who just heard before you arrived his kind of ruthless campaign ad that he somehow got his opponent, John Canna, to endorse. I think there may be some infighting going on in the league that we don't know about.
He's been a shady commissioner for years. Can't approve.
We all remember the Nolan trade of 2016.
Oh yes,
that
should not have stood up, but
no, he should have been ousted right then and there. I think John has some real principles, but I'm not going to share who I'm voting for. Let's all keep this unbiased. Now,
of course.
Now, Nick, your team is in trouble, but so are our teams. I'm not going to lie. We're not calling the pot calling the kettle black, whatever the expression is here. We're all in the bottom half of the league, and but we're curious, how is your team going to turn it around?
Well, we are currently open to trades. I have one proposal out in conversation with the team I won't disclose. Potentially shore up some of the roster issues, but all in all, things look pretty bad.
Yeah. Are you at liberty to share who was on the trade block for you?
Well, my offer was I was trying to see if Dontrell Hilliard, and if you go down, my Keenan Allen, under the hope for whoever I trade them to that he would get healthy. That's really my only bargaining chip I had was healthy Keenan Allen for the rest of the season, but I don't know if they're going to take it.
We'll see. I personally would be worried that he might be out for the rest of the year. He has really not played for you. That pick is really biting you in the ass.
Yeah, it was not a good pick. So I'm hoping that maybe someone can either afford to take the flyer on him getting healthy, or someone will make a bad trade. I don't know.
Now, I know that you are not feeling very confident about your matchup, or that your team right now, but I will point you to Matt's team, which has his two starting running backs as Tyler Algier and Isaiah Pacheco, who
that does give me some confidence. But if you look at my wide receivers, it's not exactly confidence inducing either.
I mean, I'll take Tyler Boyd over a lot of other options right now. Now, Dontrell Hilliard would scare me. I certainly wouldn't play him. Was he get 2-3 rushes a game?
Hoping to vulture a touchdown, maybe. That's really the only saving grace there. But backing up Derrick Henry doesn't leave you a whole lot of room.
Yeah, right. It would be nice if Sunday Night Football, the Titans would just completely stomp out the Chiefs, and then the game's run away. They put Dontrell Hilliard in for the fourth quarter, but I don't really see that happening.
Well, half of my offense is the Chiefs, so I need them to put up a lot of points.
I saw that half your offense is the Chiefs and the other half is the Buccaneers. So
yeah. Not a situation. It was a lose-lose. It sounds like.
I'm going for. I mean, the Chiefs. It could work. I just need them to have a lot of offense. Tyler Boyd is very boomer bust. He could catch 2 touchdowns. He could catch nothing. Dontrell Hilliard, I'm not super confident in at all, but it's the best I got. Tom Brady hasn't done well. Oh my, it's gonna be a time this week.
Yeah. If I could give you some advice, I might put Aaron Rodgers in this week against the Detroit Lions instead of Tom Brady. But I think you and Matt could have a little bet this week of Clyde Edwards-Helaire against Isaiah Pacheco. Pacheco officially being named a starter over the bye week here.
My last roster update about 5 minutes ago did swap Rodgers and Brady, so
Okay, nice.
so I've got that going for me. But it's not. Hopefully it is a big move, but on projected stats, it's not a big move.
Right. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been trashed this year, but this is probably the juiciest matchup he could possibly have. It's in division. Maybe this is the game that he shows us why he's still in the NFL.
I hope so.
But I think the most positive thing we could possibly say is that Matt's team does not inspire confidence to me either. Justin Herbert has no wide receivers.
No.
Duvernay, I guess, hits sometimes. But
Baltimore's not exactly a passing team, so
Yeah, Monday night waiting for Devin Duvernay. I don't know if I'd trust that too much, but
no, I think that 8.8 projected is probably optimistic, but
agreed.
we'll
yeah.
see. He's got Cooper Kupp in there who could just ruin me, but well,
He also has a bum ankle though. He got injured last week, and he was kind of a surprise. I'm okay, kind of thing.
yeah, that's fair.
He got injured and he's only projected 18 points.
Yeah, for real. That's
All right, but yeah, Nate, what matchup are you looking at this week?
This week, I am once again drawing attention to Kyle, who has been falling down the standings. He's playing another tie candidate, or another team who's tied with him. They're in third and fourth place. Kenny, I've been shitting on his team a lot this year, but I have to give it the respect this week. I think he is going to win. I really do. Now, Dameon Pierce appears to be having an okay game up to this point. It's about halftime. He has about 9 points for Kyle. But I do think that Kyle's team is a little thin at the moment, given not even the bye weeks, but just, I guess, how certain roster moves have panned out. He is playing Deion Jackson, which seemed like a shrewd pickup given Jonathan Taylor's absence once again. But I don't think he repeats his monster performance from the last time against New England. And yeah, I think that it's the kind of two teams passing each other in direction here in momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying there, but Kyle's team has always been Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Tyreek Hill, and he has them all in the lineup here, so I can't really root against him right now. I think he's going to pull up the dub.
I hear you. Those, but if one of those players doesn't hit, he's in trouble.
Right.
What about you? Who are you looking at this week?
Yeah, this week I'm looking up you against Shane here. Hipster Fans team against Tango the Truck Father. I think this is a pretty even matchup. I think you're within a point of each other in the projections here. Obviously, Shane's going to a couple of the older guys, Geno Smith, Dalvin Cook, Cole Kmet against your young team here, Jalen Hurts, Raheem Mostert, Dante Foreman. We'll see exactly how everything goes. Neither team as a whole inspires a lot of confidence. Shane's receivers, AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle, are looking pretty good, and you have a pretty average team overall. It's going to be, I think, a pretty tight matchup this week here.
Yeah, for me, what it comes down to is Jalen Hurts going to actually score in the second half of this game.
Right.
Right now, it's halftime. He has 5 points, no touchdowns. There's reason for him to play still. I have not decided to actually start Deontay Foreman yet. I may decide to debut Terry McLaurin. He's had a few weeks to learn the plays on my team, and I think he might be ready. That would potentially give me a boost. So we'll see if Chuba is playing for Carolina as well. So I make that decision for me. Who are you? You think I can pull myself out of the basement here, Nick?
I think for three of us on this call right now, I'm kind of rooting for you here. Shane's had it like 4 or 5 game winning streak after going 0-3 at the start of the season here. So I think he can deserve a knockdown this week.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm also pulling for you here. You got a very solid looking team, very much better than your record reflects, I would say. just need if you just get an average performance from all your guys, I think you can pull it out this week.
I agree. If I can't put out this week, I have no hope because Shane has 5 people on bye.
Yeah.
This is the week to play him. He's been rising. So yeah, no, I appreciate both of your confidences. It has not paid out so far for me. And Jalen Hurts is scaring me, but he has a good game, then I'll be feeling good about going to the weekend.
Also, McLaurin on your bench might not be a bad play. He's got a new quarterback thrown to him, but new old quarterback.
Yeah, one that kind of prefers him. I know I'm actually thinking that might be a bit good situation for him compared to.
I think Heineke McLaurin will probably get some targets.
Yeah, no, I feel that, Nick. I have not been playing him so far just because I have a lot of flex options and always play the wrong one. But maybe this week I'm going to make the right decision. And so now we had a trade go through this week. Speaking of your trade talk, and I don't know if you saw this, but Ducky got rid of both. Who was it? Devonta Smith and Travis
Etienne for Kyler gave him Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, which side of the trade are you on there, Nick?
Ooh, I don't know. I would have to look at their teams, see if I assume it sounds like it would have been a helpful trade for both of them.
Well, they're playing each other this week, so we have the perfect opportunity to do that.
Oh boy.
And all 3 of the players are being in their starting lineups right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to bet against Justin Jefferson, especially against Washington. Ooh, he might be better than that 15.7 shows.
He certainly can be. I mean, according to just ESPN, I think they would say that Kyler won this trade. Travis Etienne is supposed to get 17 points this week.
Yeah.
At the half, Devonta Smith isn't doing anything, so maybe he laid a trap there for Kyler. We'll see.
It's fully possible. Philadelphia, it's tied at the half. Philadelphia might not be running the ball that much.
It seems like they have been running the ball a lot so far, but so they may need to reevaluate for the second half. But yeah, I told Ducky this when I saw this go through. I think I'm on the Kyler side here. I usually want the superstar, but I think Travis Etienne is a superstar now. So I'm saying that he's going to win this trade unless an injury happens.
I think you're probably right. I do really like Justin Jefferson. I drafted him in the past and it's done me well. But Etienne, I think qualifies as a superstar, especially in Jacksonville, who probably needs to lean on him a lot.
Yeah. Which side are you on here, Snickers?
I think overall, Ducky probably came out on top of this one here. I would say Justin Jefferson was used to beat me last week, but his wide receiver core was really not good. He had Chris Olave, and that was it. The truck driver, CeeDee Lamb, is the second best receiver. Now it's obviously Justin Jefferson's moved to the 1 spot. Chris Olave is number 2 here. I think he probably came out on top.
Now, really quickly, let's just look at the waiver claims this week. Not a huge things going on. I do have to say I'm very pleased with myself for grabbing Evan Ingram off the waivers and tying Shane becoming on top because Evan Ingram does have a juicy matchup this week. Got him for just $3 and we're out of money. So I need the cheap tight ends on these bye weeks. But Snickers, you got a Ronnie Rivers, who I guess backup running back. We'll see if anyone on that team can produce. But Harrison Butker also snatched from the jaws of Kyle.
Yeah, no, Harrison Butker was a big one. Obviously, Brett Maher was the second best kicker in the league going into last week, and he did well, but he's on bye. So what can you do here? Got to pick up a known commodity.
Now, I know that you've got a lot of bucks in your bank account here, Nick. Who you say holding out for?
I haven't seen anyone that I've been super impressed with. I've been looking for receivers. Odell Beckham didn't really fancy my interest. Haven't seen a whole lot on the waiver line that I've been interested in, to be honest. I picked up a couple for free today just to fill some gaps, but the Miko Hardman and Cairo Santos to fill in my kicker bye week, but I'm not super high on either of them, to be honest.
It says you still got $99, and that money doesn't go into your pocket at the end of the year.
I might have to spend big in the last bit of the season, maybe make some moves on the waiver wire, but pickings have been slim so far.
Absolutely. Now, that's all we got for today with you, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us. We do have one last segment with Caitlin after we let you go. She's going to talk about Tom Brady drama with Gisele.
Oh my.
But thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Yeah, have a good one, Nick.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
All right, now before we go today, we once again have Caitlin on the show with her hot takes, this time to fill us in on the Tom Brady Gisele drama. So please welcome my wife, Caitlin. Welcome, Caitlin. We know that you have had your ear to the ground, listening to all the whisperings of Gisele and Tom, and what's going on?
Shane wanted me to figure out some potential new eligible partners for them after their divorce.
Are you saying that you don't have information about their real preferences?
I can speculate.
Speculate.
Well, I mean, Tom has made his preferences clear. He's chosen football as his new wife. So.
And how many suitors is Tom going to have going forward?
Well, would the Patriots want him back? I mean, obviously he has the Buccaneers. But back when he fake announced his retirement the first time, people were speculating whether or not he would sign a one-day contract with the Patriots just to retire with the Patriots.
Yeah, I think he'll be doing that anyway, but I'd love to have him back for a year.
What? That's sad.
He's better than anyone else we got. I mean, MJ and the Zapper are, all right, pretty average quarterbacks, and I guess that's all we need if we got their running in the defense here. But
now Nate thinks I'm silly for bringing up this potential partner, but I feel like London Jaguars might want him. Since Gisele's big worldwide throughout Europe, the name Tom Brady brings some attraction to the team if it were to ever to happen.
I think the problem is that the London Jaguars will have their inaugural debut when Tom is like 55, at least.
And he's immortal, right?
Like that.
We start having like a Masters League, maybe.
Yeah, but what do you think about possible Gisele suitors here, Caitlin?
So are you familiar with Young Gravy? He's a
no, I'm not.
Minnesota rapper whose songs are primarily about hot moms, hygiene, comfort food, and basketball. He's been photographed with Martha Stewart, Ask Addison Rae's mom, to the award show, and in his top 5 MILF list, he includes Sofia Vergara. Am I saying her name right?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, Sofia Vergara.
Yeah. So Gisele's not on his top 5 MILF list, but he is known for his love of hot moms. I think he's obviously a potential, not long-term partner, but just get back in the game type person. Each of his albums has one song dedicated to a MILF.
So it sounds like Gisele fans may be waiting for his next release.
Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately he just had a release, like right around now, so not enough time. So we'll have to wait a little bit to find out.
I don't know if you guys are saying the word release on purpose or not, but next album debut, I think, is what you're trying to say.
All right. And then option number 2, I hope she doesn't do this, but Pete Davidson, just because he dates everyone.
You don't think she's a little out of his age range?
No, he's dated a model who's currently now 49. And he's also dated an 18-year-old, so he's got a wide range.
But didn't he just break up with Jessica Alba like 2 weeks ago?
Isn't he with Kim right now?
I'm talking about the singer, the one who does that song where she said bye or whatever. Thank you, bye.
You mean Ariana Grande?
She's the one. Yeah.
Years
Yeah,
ago.
no, that was a couple years ago, Nate.
Yeah. Yeah, for longer term suitors for Gisele, I had trouble finding appropriate ones. Patrick Dempsey is unfortunately involved in motorsports, and that's dangerous, so I don't think she'd like that. And then I was feeling Matthew McConaughey for her, but turns out, yeah, he's already married to another Brazilian model. So even though he and her both like yoga, he's taken.
I see. Well, to round out the top 5, who you might have your eye on for Gisele?
I did my research. I wasn't finding a lot. She's out of too many leagues. It seems like Nick is volunteering.
Very nice, Nick.
Yeah, she's a nice girl.
We don't want our recording to cut us off,
Yeah.
so we're going to have to thank you for joining us, and we look forward to more hot takes in the coming weeks.
Thank you.
So, while we have you join us next week, thanks for joining us this week. We're doing it.